guys, welcome to Better Bachelor. My name's Joker with a face for radio and a voice for print. It is official. Women have lost their minds. They've gone crazy. And it's not, again, like we always say, it's not all women, not all women. But these things get into articles. This is actually an article I'm going to read where women are now charging men for bad dates because it's wasting the women's time. Now, I don't know about you fellas, but there's a lot of guys that are like, hey, you know what? She wasted my time too. She showed up and turned out to be a weirdo feminist or had blue hair or was heavier than I thought she was or didn't look, or, you know, the photos were 5 or 6 years old. Guys could say the same thing. But no, women now want to charge men for bad dates. Now, of course, this is just, it's a thing that's going viral. But the problem is when these things go viral, even if it's not something that really happens, you know, idiot, stupid women see this and they're like, oh, I'm going to start doing this too. This sounds like a good idea. We've got to stop with this craziness. So I got an article to read before we jump into that. Make sure to jump over and either Daily Wire, Jeremy's Razors. You can either get a subscription to Daily Wire, order the non-woke Jeremy's Razors, which is a razor subscription. Both are good causes that support Gina Carano and Jordan Peterson and Ben Shapiro, and they have really good articles over there. That's where I get most of my news that's not in the mainstream news. But if you use the promo code I've got down below, that gives us points, and if we come in first place, we get some money for a men's retreat. So right now we're in first place, so let's keep at it, and please support over there so we can have Daily Wire buy us a men's retreat. All right, from the New York Post, the D-bag tax. And you know, here's the thing. I did not make that screenshot that's up on the thumbnail. I actually took this and modified it a little bit with my awful Photoshop skills. The D-bag tax. New York women are charging men up to $3,000 for failed relationships and bad dates. Now, here's the thing. Obviously, you don't have to pay it. But when this stuff goes viral, expect this stuff to, if you're in the dating world or you're going out on dates, it'll start in New York, and like everything else, it'll spread everywhere. And of course, if you look at this woman, she reminds me of like my second grade teacher that always had way too much like overly vibrant makeup on with weird glasses. She looks like my second grade teacher, except she looks a little bit younger. But if you showed up for a date, one look at this, wouldn't you be like, yeah, no, like I'm out. Martha Duke sends Venmo requests for amounts ranging from $1,500 to $3,000 to dates who behave poorly. So now, if you don't perform up to her standards, she's going to fine you. I mean, she says Sarah was fed up. Let me zoom this up a little bit. Sarah was fed up. The New York City social worker. Oh well, there's a high quality woman. That's like an HR manager. Who declined to give her last name, who had countless dates cancel on her at the last minute. So when a man she met on an app recently pulled out of their date an hour beforehand, she agreed to reschedule with one caveat: he would Venmo her a $50 deposit. She said, "I'm just done with my time and energy being wasted," Sarah told the Post. In almost every other scenario, when someone books a time of their day dedicated to you, then they have a no-show policy or security deposit. Yeah, if you go into like a doctor's office and you cancel the appointment, they charge you like $50. And here's the weird thing. The man agreed to the terms and sent her money. They met up for a drink on a Monday night in a date in Hell's Kitchen, and he was fully engaged the entire time, paying for their cocktails and offering to buy them food to share. So he pays $50 to go out with her because I guess he blew her off once. Then he buys her cocktails. Then he buys her food. I don't know about you, but it sounds like an awful lot like a profession I once heard of. Like you could almost say the world's oldest profession. Sarah's female friends cheered her brazen move, while male friends told her it was nuts. Still, she has no regrets. I think it makes sense, she said. Well, of course, because you're getting money for nothing. And just because this, she has text right here, and he did send her $50. She says, you'll get that back if you do everything right. Ha, ha, ha. Do you think he'll ever see that $50 again? Of course not. So basically, she just charged him to go out on a date. Dating in the digital age can take a toll, both emotionally and financially. I love this. I love this. Dating in the digital age can take it both emotionally and financially. Who's the one paying financially? It's the men. And who's usually the emotional ones that are the ones emotionally? It's either A, the guys that get blown off or don't get matches on the dating apps or don't get the time of day, or the women that go with the high status guys that are players and end up banging them and then tossing them aside. Again, but financially, not for women. Sorry, don't think so. They say in some city, women have had enough. They're asking men to pay them back for their time and energy when they cancel, cheat, or commit other indiscretions. So now if a guy breaks up on a woman or bails or cheats on her, she's sending him a bill. And of course, it doesn't mean he has to pay it, but you know, things start like this and they spread like wildfire, and there will be some stupid feminist lawmaker somewhere where they'll go, yeah, this is a good idea. Let's make it into law. She says, for me, it's like it's a way to just be like, you're a D-bag. Here's the monetary value of my time wasted. Martha Duke, 38, told the Post. Duke said she sent around 6 Venmo requests ranging from $1,500 to $3,000, depending on their financial situation. Oh, you mean you ask more money if they have more money? That almost sounds like a divorce court. Over the years to different men she's dated, she listed infidelity, secret marriages, and having multiple sex partners from her as some of the reasons for the charges. Wow, it almost sounds like you're chasing a-holes, and you're not doing a very good job of selecting your men. And again, it's not exactly like she's the best-looking thing in the world. She I don't know, she looks like a cartoon with those stupid-ass glasses. Putting a monetary value on caddish conduct helps men to be better understand the error of their ways, Duke said, adding that she put the phrase the D-bag tax on all her Venmo requests. I would tell her to take a flying F leap off of a short pier. She says New York is the narcissist capital, says Duke, who's probably also an obvious narcissist and thinks her time is worth money, who works as a personal assistant, and said they're not going to understand. What you did really hurt my feelings because they don't grasp feelings, they grasp money. Again, what is she doing? She's chasing the bad, successful, good-looking bad boys who don't value her feelings. They value getting a piece and maybe having some fun and bailing. Again, but this is the shortfall of her bad selections. But instead of internalizing this and saying, maybe I need to look for a different type of man, no, she's just going to charge them money if she's not happy with them. Duke says the Venmo requests have been cathartic, and she submitted them to men who have offended her in various ways. One man has promised to help her with rent, but required a not too subtle reminder. Okay, so a man said he would help you with rent and then changed his mind, so you're going to send him a bill? Another abandoned her on a weekend getaway in Atlantic City because he expected more of her. Or maybe she was being an a-hole or getting drunk, and he was like, I got to go. But again, it's not her fault. You see, it's always everybody else's fault. A third dude ghosted and resurfaced a month later, married to another woman. Again, maybe you're just a horrible person, Martha Duke. And it says right here, she requested $2,500 from blank douchebag tax. Now, of course, these guys are not going to pay it. They're going to have a laugh about it. But the point is her mental thinking of, instead of learning anything from her mistakes, she's going to charge other people for it. She says about half the time the suitors have paid up. Press X for doubt. None of these guys paid up. I'd have to see some receipts for that. Duke has been surprised at the success of her request, but hypothesized that men, they would rather pay than deal with the emotional consequences. They don't have emotional consequences. Here's the thing. If this were legitimate, again, guys are not going to be like, well, I'll give her $2,500 because I hurt her feelings. Unless they're simpy, wimpy dudes, maybe that's the only kind of guys she can get. I don't believe these guys are paying, and I certainly don't think that they care about her. She even says if you're dealing with narcissists, you're never going to get closure. But I can get the mental image of them receiving my Venmo request. Exactly. It makes her feel good to send this to maybe give her some closure, but these guys aren't paying her. I guarantee you that. And here's somebody else, Hazel Everett, 34, agreed, saying she sent a Venmo request to a man she'd been seeing for several months after he stopped communicating with her and sent her another woman's nude photos. Oh, that's a burn. She said, I just went on Venmo and I requested $100, and for the highlight, I wrote for wasting my time. Although initially surprised at her request, her former partner paid the money, stating her reasoning behind the charge being the significant time and effort into the relationship, which was not reciprocated. As for Sarah, she never went on a second date with the man who paid the deposit. Oh, interesting. So she didn't give the $50 back. There's a shock. I never heard from him again, so I just kept the money. Surprise. I wonder what kind of comments they have down here. I say, if your dates keep canceling at the last minute, you are, 1, picking the wrong type of guys. Exactly. 2, there's something wrong with you, and they are finding it on the internet. Exactly my point. Interesting that the post didn't tell you what happened to all of Duke's Venmo requests for thousands of dollars. Her dates showed them to friends. They all had a good laugh about what a psycho they narrowly avoided before declining and blocking her. And I think these are all the top ones. And again, I didn't read these beforehand because I try to keep some things fresh for the video. Here's another guy that says, at least they're owning the world's oldest profession. No need to hide their motives. And someone else says, yeah, I see that someone else has been able to call it for what it actually is. Yeah, exactly it. So you know what? I hope stuff like this goes viral. When things like this go viral and all the awful things these women are doing, and see, they call the guys narcissistic, but in reality, these women are also just as narcissistic. They think their time is worth money. They think they can chase the upper echelon of men, and then when they either get used and dumped or cheated on or just ghosted, they think their time is worth money. No, you chase the bad boys, you chase the upper crust of men, and when they decide to move on, you're going to send them a bill. I don't think that's going to work out so well for you.